Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are Italian Rosette butter cookies. This particular recipe I did have to convert because the recipe is really all in ounces. So I used actually my scale to measure out what I needed, and then I took, a measuring cup or whatever to try to get as exactly as I could. If you want to have it really perfect, then I would suggest, I'm going to give you all, the ingredient list and measurements to use your scale. But again, I'll give you the cup size and that type of thing. But again, it might not be, perfectly accurate. The scale would be, but it's pretty close that you're going to pull off some very nice looking, good tasting cookies. So let's get started. First off, you do need 3 ounces of unsalted butter that's been at room temperature. And I measured that to be about 6 tablespoons, okay? And you can put that into your bowl. You can do this with your hand mixer if you don't want to use your stand. Break that up and start creaming that unsalted butter. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is solid shortening. And this calls for 3 ounces, which I measured out to a tiny bit less than a half a cup. And put that in with your butter. Now you want to combine these two again till they become very smooth and creamy. And that might take you a few minutes. I'm going to move along due to the video. I'm going to raise my speed just a little bit to get that going. Now the next thing, and as you can see, instead of having it in little dishes this time around, I did measure them by the weight, by the scale. So in this bag I have granulated sugar. The recipe calls for 3 ounces. I came up with 1/4 plus 1/8 of a cup of granulated sugar. Again, 1 cup plus 1/8 cup of granulated sugar. And we'll beat this in. Again, you want it to be very smooth, very light and fluffy looking. Okay? Alright, the next thing that you're going to be putting in is an egg. And I've had that at room temperature. So we'll beat that in. Get to the sides here a little bit and bring it all together and get to the bottom. Okay. Now, you'll again want this to look very smooth, very creamy. Alright? The next thing that you're going to be putting in is a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Beat that in. And you're also going to be putting in a teaspoon of almond extract. 1 teaspoon. Okay. So I've got my half a teaspoon here. There's a half. And there's a full teaspoon of almond extract. And beat that in. This is when you really want to spend the time mixing this, because you want it to almost come out like a ribbon in texture, this cream mixture, so that everything comes together. It almost has a ribbon-like quality to it. Alright, this looks pretty good. Just let it go for another second or 2. Alright. The next thing, of course, is the dry ingredients. You're going to need 8 ounces of all-purpose flour, okay? And I measured that out to about 1.5 cups, okay? So I'm going, well, before I do that, I want to mix this together. You're going to need cornstarch. It is 1 ounce. I got about 3 tablespoons, maybe a little less, but about 3 tablespoons. And I'm just going to put the cornstarch with the flour. Empty this little bag. There we go. And then, whoops, there's the rest of it. And then I'm just going to stir it a little bit here with my spoon. Okay, and then just start slowly putting in your dry with the wet. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to raise my speed. I don't want to send flour all over the kitchen, but I want to get things going here. Now, as it's mixing, it'll look very crumbly at first, but stay with it because it will start to cream and it will start to make the cookie dough. I'm going to raise my speed a little bit to warn you. Okay, and then once again, I want to get to that bottom and get to those sides. And then I'm going to show you what I have so far. I'm going to raise my speed. Once again, the sound's going to get a little loud. Okay. And let me show you what I've got. You get this really nice, creamy mixture. Okay? Let me take my paddle out here, and I'll quickly take off some of my excess here. And then I'll set that aside. Okay, there we go. I don't want it to be too messy. All right, and now I'm just going to bring it all together, and then I'd like to show you again what it looks like. And there we go. Very creamy. It feels very light, very fluffy. All right. Okay. All right. There we go. Now, the next thing that you will need is a piping bag. And I have some already filled. And then you're going to use a large, so that you can see that a little bit there. I'm using a very large star tip on my pastry bag, okay? And you're going to need, of course, a cookie tray or a sheet, and I lightly spray that, unless you want to use, you know, parchment paper, that type of thing, feel free, okay? And because they call it a rosette, what you want to do is just, you know, press down in the center, go counterclockwise all the way around, and then just pull off. And they will spread, but not too much. Put them about 2 inches apart. So down the center, counterclockwise, and then pull off. If you have a little mishap like that, you can just go back and kind of, you know, put it together, and it really will bake up. You won't even see that. So let's do one more here. I go dead center, counterclockwise, all around to make the rosette, and then pull off. And these really do come out so pretty when you use this tip. Okay, and they will look like that. Now you're going to bake these cookies at 375 degrees, and they're going to take anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. You don't want to over bake them. I start really checking mine at about 5 or 6 minutes. If you leave them too long, they'll get more of a really brown edge to them. It doesn't affect really the taste, but it does the look. And if you don't want that, you know, watch them closely, because they will bake up very quickly. And as we do know, all our ovens set up so differently. They really do. Let me rinse my hands here quickly. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm sorry. Now you can bake these up plain if you want, or you can use your colored jimmies and just sprinkle those on top. I have the multicolor that I've just put down, and then also my chocolate sprinkles. You know, you can put on as much as you want, or just leave them plain. They come out so pretty when they're baked up. So let me rinse my hands real quick, and I'd like to show you what they look like when they are finished. And here they are. They'll bake up really quite beautiful. These are just the plain ones with nothing on them. As you can see, a nice medium golden brown on the bottom. And these, of course, are the ones that I put the chocolate jimmies on. And these were the multicolors. Now, depending on the size, these are about 2.5 inches. And I got about, well, you can get about 16 to 18 cookies. If you make them smaller, of course, you're going to get more out of these cookies. And then I just want to break one open to show you. And when you do, this is going to be a crisp cookie on the top and on the bottom. It's more of a hard shell, but inside it's really a semi-moist, almost a medium texture, light to medium texture on the inside. But they will melt in your mouth. They really taste good with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or even dunk them in some milk, that type of thing. Well, there you have it, Italian Rosette butter cookies. I hope you like this recipe. If you try it and you like it, leave a comment, because I'd like to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching Diane Lovetobake. And please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon.